Welcome back to Medrash Umaisa, sharing a story for this week's Parsha, which in Eretz Yisrael is Parshas Pinchas. This week's story really is a preparation for the 3 weeks, for those weeks of mourning, which again will hopefully be transformed into celebration with the rebuilt Beis HaMikdash Meher of Yameinu. Nonetheless, we have to prepare ourselves for the Avodah in case that doesn't happen. There was a tremendous tzaddik in pre-war Poland who was known as the Rebbe of Zoloshitz. He had the interesting first name of Shem. Rabbi Shem Klinberger, his name was. He was a grandson of the Kamarna Rebbe, and he was unfortunately killed in the war, Hashem Yikom Domo. He lived in Krakow, in the city of Krakow. The Tolner Rebbe's father-in-law, Rebbe Yaakov Yitzchok Weisblum, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, who was a Rav in Galicia and then later in Haifa, also a Ben Achaben, a direct descendant of Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, shared with the Tolner Rebbe some stories about the Rebbe of Zoloshitz, stories that we can learn a lot from. It seems that the Rebbe of Zoloshitz sensed the danger of the oncoming Holocaust, of the war, and what would happen to Am Yisroel during that war. The Imre Emes, the Ger Rebbe, on occasion of a wedding between the two families, went in to the Rebbe of Zoloshitz. He came out and he said that he looks like a malach and he speaks like Yirmiyahu Hanavi. Yirmiyahu was the prophet who predicted the Churban, the destruction, and the Golus. So someone who survived from Krakow told Rav Weisblum the following story. He said, before the war, the Rebbe came out and spoke to people. Now, the time in Poland was very, very difficult in terms of the economy, in terms of basic food. People were starving. The time between World War I and World War II was incredibly difficult. And he said, it was revealed to me from Shamayim that we are facing a danger that will make this look like nothing. A danger far beyond the hunger and suffering that's going on right now. He said, but it was also revealed to me that the possibility that we have to prevent that from occurring is all based on the avodah of Simcha. If we can be besimcha, if we can be happy, serve Hashem with happiness, increase our happiness, there's a possibility that we may be able to save Am Yisroel from that gezerah. And therefore we wanted to put something into action. He asked his family members, his followers, to arrange something special for Lag BaOmer that year. Now, Lag BaOmer in Krakow was a day when thousands of Jews would come, because Krakow was the city of the Ramah, the great Rabbi Moshe Isserles, and his yahrzeit was on Lag BaOmer. Thousands of Jews would come to the kever of the Ramah on Lag BaOmer. He said, this year, I would like to arrange tremendous simcha by the kever of the Ramah. We should have musicians, and we should have singing and dancing, and I want those thousands of Jews to be mesameach together. So they started to plan it, but some other rabbonim in the city heard about this, and they opposed it greatly. He said, first of all, there's no precedent for having singing and dancing and music in the Beis HaChaim. They also felt that even though it was Lag BaOmer, the custom there was not to have music and singing and dancing on Lag BaOmer because of Sfiras HaOmer, of the mourning period in Sfiras HaOmer for the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, and they felt that that shouldn't be done. Now, the followers of the Rebbe came to him and said, Rebbe, even though these Rabbonim oppose, you should know that the majority of the people in Krakow look to you. They're behind you. We can go ahead. The Rebbe said, no. He says, I feel that it can bring a Yeshua for Am Yisrael, but I don't want to do it with machlokas. I don't want to do it through machlokas. We'll drop it. And they say that he spent a tremendous time crying afterwards, davening to Hashem, that he wouldn't have to see, if the gezerah came, those same rabbonim who prevented the tikkun he wanted to do from happening, going to their deaths with Am Yisrael at the time. So, what do we learn from here? We learn about the power of Simcha. Among Hasidim, there's a Masorah that the Rebbe of Parshas would say about the pasuk, Ki b'simcha teitzeyu. He said, with Simcha you can get out of all your tzaras. So even though the 3 weeks are a time of Avelus on Yerushalayim, nonetheless, the avodah of Simcha shel mitzvah and the basic Simcha that every Jew has to have still remains. Hasidim would even explain what it says in the Mishnah, Mishenichnas av mematin b'simcha. They say Mishenichnas av memait, so you're memait your tzaras b'simcha, by Simcha. Okay, obviously while keeping to all of the halachas of the 3 weeks, but to fall into depression, to fall into despair, is certainly not positive. Simcha is not something that we do for self-indulgence. The Simcha of Am Yisroel is an avodah. It's something that brings bracha to the person who's sameach, to those around him, and to the entire world. So let's learn from that and carry that with us at all times, and hopefully through the Simcha and avodah shel Simcha, we should be able to see the Geula Shalema b'mher v'yameinu and the rebuilt Yerushalayim before our eyes. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov.